Okay, so do these letters, A, T, C, and G, represent random letters that someone just made up? How about B, bases on separate DNA strands that pair together? What about C, the genetic code? Yeah, what we have to do is, actually, B is the correct answer. So what does A mean? That's adenine, and T is, and C is, and G is guanine. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now DNA is another type of polymer. The monomeric unit in these nucleic acids are called nucleotides. So a nucleotide consists of a sugar, a base, and a phosphate. So the TG dinucleotide is shown below. This is two nucleotides connected together. So T is thymine, G is guanine. So in here, where is the base? Yeah, so here's one base. Okay, so this is the DNA base guanine. And then the other base is, this one above, the DNA base thymine. Okay, so there's two bases in this dinucleotide. Where is or are these sugars? Yes, here's the ring. Okay, so is this aromatic here? There's two rings. Yeah, actually these are not aromatic because in aromatic rings you need, it has to be in a ring, but it has to be alternating carbon-carbon single bond to carbon-carbon double bonds. There's actually a couple other rules too about the compound being aromatic, which we won't discuss. And then where's the phosphate group? Yeah, it's really big at the phosphate. Here's the phosphate. We said that the bond that connects together nucleotides is the phosphodiester bond. So which one is the phosphodiester bond which connects together these two nucleotides? Okay, so again, here's our phosphate here. So it turns out that this bond here, this phosphodiester bond, is the phosphodiester. Now, we talk about esters. Now, in an ester functional group, okay, so in an ester functional group, looks like this. Okay, so there's our ester. What's the phosphodiester group? Okay, so note that if we replace this carbon by a phosphorus, we get a phosphoester. How come it's a diester? Because we have a second, actually another oxygen here. So note that here's one phosphoester, here's the second phosphoester. That's what it's called a phosphodiester. Okay, so again, all we're doing is replacing a carbon with a phosphorus. Then if you take organic chemistry, if you understand the chemistry of esters, then you can understand the chemistry of these phosphate compounds, for example, ATP and ADP. Okay, so let's spend a few minutes talking about the two bonding theory. Now, you can put down your pencils, and I'm not going to ask you any questions on exams on bonding theory. This is just for those of you who may be taking more chemistry or organic chemistry in the future, because we'll talk about bonding theory in that class. Okay, so again, I'm not going to ask you any questions on bonding theories in Chem1B. Okay, so there's two main bonding theories, valence bond theory and microorbital theory. Now, valence bond theory is used to describe the shape and geometry of molecules. Electroorbital theory is used to describe magnetism. So, for example, whether a molecule or a compound is diamagnetic or paramagnetic. It also describes spectrum. For example, note that in Chem1B we looked at, you measured the UV visible spectrum of food colors. We can use electroorbital theory to describe why, say, one food color absorbs in the orange and another food color absorbs in the blue. It also describes bond order. Now, valence bond theory also is used, Lewis structures is used to, in valence bond theory, but note that if we have something like benzene, benzene does not represent accurately the bonding in this molecule because we said that benzene has, according to experiments, has 6 carbon-carbon bonds the same length. So to represent this using Lewis structure, we have to draw a resin structure. Okay, so it turns out that electroorbital theory can be used to describe delocalized electrons. Okay, if there's 3 or more atoms in that compound. Whereas valence bond theory, we look at localized electrons only. In valence bond theory, atomic orbitals from the same atom mix together to form hybrid orbitals. And these hybrid orbitals that form point in certain directions, and that's why these hybrid orbitals can be used to describe the shape of molecules. In electroorbital theory, atomic orbitals from different atoms mix together and they form what's called molecular orbitals. And then, like I said, each hybrid orbital has a specific shape and orientation. In molecular orbital theory, these molecular orbitals have what's called bonding molecular orbitals and anti-bonding molecular orbitals. When electrons occupy these bonding molecular orbitals, a bond forms. If anti-bonding molecular orbitals form, the bond's going to break. Okay, so in one case, it sort of promotes the formation of a bond. In another case, it actually inhibits the formation of a bond. And then in each case, the overlap of the orbital contributes to the strength of the bond. So we talked about how carbon-carbon single bonds are stronger than carbon-carbon double bonds. We also talked about how, for example, we said that in an explosive, some we have weak bonds. You guys remember this with Chem1B? Weak bonds. So for example, a nitrogen-oxygen bond is very weak. But if you have something like Teflon, a Teflon coating on plastic cans, this is a carbon-fluorine bond which is very strong. Okay, so it turns out that if you look at an orbital, for example, this is an S, the shape of an S orbital. If there's a lot of overlap between these 2 orbitals, this would be a strong bond. See, if there's little overlap, let's say it's like a P orbital. Here's an S orbital. Okay, so if there's little overlap, that's going to be a weak bond. Okay, so theoretical scientists look at these overlapping bonds to predict whether a bond is be strong or weak based on the calculations on the shape of orbitals and the energy of orbitals. Okay, so here's an example of how to distinguish between electroorbital theory and valence bond theory. So oxygen is the O2 molecule. It turns out that experiments show that oxygen is paramagnetic. A paramagnetic substance has at least one unpaired electron in it. Now, we know what the Lewis structure of O2 looks like. And the Lewis structure of O2 looks like, yeah, we have an oxygen with all bonded to another oxygen, so we show our lone pairs. Note that this Lewis structure shows all of the electrons paired up. Okay, so this is not paramagnetic, so Lewis structure. Okay, so all the electrons are paired up. Okay, so this is an example of what's called a diamagnetic substance. So there's no unpaired electrons. in this compound, but this does not fit the experimental data of O2 being paramagnetic. Now, this is a partial drawing of a molecular orbital diagram of O2, and it turns out I actually didn't complete drawing this, but let me show that for the bottom, for this one here. Okay, so if you have an oxygen atom, this is there. Okay, so this would be the 1s atomic orbital in the oxygen atom. In electroorbital theory, the 1s atomic orbital can combine together to form a bonding electroorbital and an anti-bonding. Okay, so what happens is that these two are going to combine together. Okay, so this is going to be the bonding electroorbital and the anti-bonding electroorbital. So these two lines here represent these two lines there. Okay? And then if you could continue on, you have 2s atomic orbital. Okay, so these combine together to form a bonding electroorbital and anti-bonding electroorbital. This is the bonding. This is the anti-bonding. Okay, then we can do the same thing for the 2p atomic orbitals. Anyway, this is the order of the molecular orbitals in the O2 molecule. The O2 molecule has 16 electrons, so we can fill these molecular orbitals just like we did in Chem1A. We're looking at electric configuration. So note that we have 2 electrons in this bonding, 2 in the anti-bonding, 2 in the